Hi there, welcome to Tarotland Soap Opera. Today I'm going to do a reading for Sagittarius energy. And like usual, we're going to do two rows. The top row I refer to as high vibe Sagittarius energy, and the bottom row a more worldly, shadowy Sagittarius energy, because we all have free will and we have to make decisions in our life. And we kind of have our more worldly nature, which is our more immature, fearful, insecure, codependent, more immature, lustful, greedy nature. And, we'd all like things to work out the way we'd like them to work out, even when they're not working out the way we'd like them to work out. And we can have fear about moving forward in life differently because we might have to speak our truth, stand up for ourselves, and it could require us to step out of our comfort zone. And we'd really be tempted in the bottom row energy to just keep doing life the way we've been doing it. And we will keep living our life the way we've been doing it until we're ready to move forward in life differently. And sometimes we can be in friendships and relationships with people, and they're more able to tolerate some things that are going on. For example, if you have a job and you both work at the same job, but it's like, I can't stay here anymore, I gotta leave. And, people are willing to move forward in their life at different times in life than other people. Some people could be battling within themselves. Other people have moved on in life differently. Life's about learning lessons in life. When we heal, grow, mature, expand our perception of ourselves and the world around us, we're ready to move forward. And sometimes when some people are ready to move forward in life differently, other people aren't. And a lot of times that's okay. People can wish each other peace. We know all sorts of people in the world. The problem can be when it's a more close relationship, whether it's friend or romantic, that it's really hard because we'd like them to be on the same page as us. So we all can tap into Sagittarius energy, so listen to your intuition about how you're harnessing your Sagittarius energy and how you think other people are, because if you harness high vibe Sagittarius, kind of motivated and inspired to learn and heal and grow and mature yourself and get out of your ego and look at life as an adventure to be lived, some other people you'd like to hang out with other people who are on the same page as you. So the reason for the top rose reading is the strategy card, and that can be like the Ace of Swords, some truth, some understanding, healing. The reason for the bottom rose reading is financial constraints. Some people, it could just be financial constraints, but financial can also mean like abundance constraints. And this card reminds me of the Five of Pentacles in tarot, which is Taurus energy, which has to do with our philosophy of life and how we view ourselves in the world and how we view others, how we view relationships. And some people are more aligned with their more worldly view of life. Some people might have a lack mentality, not love and believe in themselves, and again, learning to love yourself is a process, and that can take the first many decades of our life to learn just how to love ourselves, because that is a truth and a free will choice that we have. But until we kind of get rejected enough in the world where we keep not having things work out the way we want, we might not look at why things don't work out the way we want, so we'll keep repeating an old pattern because we think we know best. And until we finally are willing to see the truth that this isn't working out the way I thought, then we need to get out of our ego and be willing to, which is kind of two cards here of getting out of your ego. The victory card is like the Six of Wands, and the strength card, Leo energy, being inspired to get out of our ego, to think about the relationships we want to be in and what foundation we're operating from in the second chakra. And then the action card is like Sagittarius energy, that being inspired to go through the door of personal healing and happiness. And then the walking away card is also kind of like the Eight of Wands Sagittarius card. I need to get out of my ego and my self-pity or my self-limiting beliefs. And I view high vibe Leo energy as choosing and seeing the truth I have the free will to belittle and berate myself all day, and I can hang out with people who will join in on the chorus every day of what an awful person I am, or how life sucks and nothing goes our way, you know? Or I have the free will choice to choose to be in life-giving energy, and every day to choose to be in high vibe energy of hope and faith and belief, offer myself love and compassion and forgiveness for the lessons I've had to learn, offer it to other people in my life. Some of those people in my life were very loving, giving, nurturing, just, fair, acted with character and integrity. Some of them haven't learned those lessons yet. And I just accept the truth of it. People are where they're at in their own philosophy of life. Some people aren't very giving and nurturing. Some people are unkind, hurtful, egotistical, self-centered, abusive. And I just see the truth of it. How other people are based on the lessons they've learned in life about in their emotional maturity, or how to treat other people in relationships and what they think is just and fair, doesn't really have anything to do with me. You know? But I can choose to be in an energy of love and compassion and forgiveness so that I can keep moving forward. And I just, Leo energy, also represented by the sun, is just dealing with the reality and truth of the situation. And I choose to temper my ego about the fact that there are unkind, unloving, immature, prideful, egotistical, self-centered, narcissistic, whatever type of people in the world. I just accept the truth of it. But I'm not going to give up my dreams and stay in a feeling of lack because some people didn't want to be my friend. Some people didn't want to date me. Some people are more caught up in the world. Some people are more about themselves. Okay. You know, my truth is in the second chakra, that at a core foundational level of the first chakra, which is like your core foundation, I still have hope and faith and belief and love. I've just learned a lot of lessons from people about what is love, what isn't love, what is just and fair, what isn't, what do people with character and integrity act like versus people who don't, the difference between people who are egotistical or self-centered and the people who aren't. And I'm inspired to go keep pursuing my dreams and communicating with other people in my life who I think harness high vibe Sagittarius energy, who are inspired to learn, heal, grow, mature themselves, who have hope and faith and belief in love and justice and fairness. And we've all had lessons to learn. We've all been, for the first many decades of our life, learning these lessons in life. So let's go look at the bottom row. Patience, also Sagittarius energy. And the patience card is like the temperance card in tarot. You know, the divine's with all of us, all of our life, trying to help us balance out our emotions as we go through this learning process. Because the appreciation card is kind of like the Nine of Pentacles card. We, in our more worldly nature of Virgo energy, we get brought up in the world and indoctrinated in the world that when you don't feel abundant, you should go pursue Sagittarius energy, fire sign energy. Go pursue these things. That will make you happy. And we go indulge in all these things of the world that we are sure are the answer to our problems that will make us happy. Getting in relationships, drugs, booze, alcohol, sex, drugs, rock and roll, whatever, you know. And all the things of the world can be meant to be enjoyed, but they're meant to be enjoyed from a place of love for yourself. That love is the driving factor in your life, and you love yourself so that you can indulge in things of the world, but you don't make those things the end-all be-all in your life for you being happy, because you loving yourself is the core foundation that you operate from. But it can take many decades to learn that. So when we're younger, in our more worldly nature, we are looking to our Sagittarius energy of all these things we want to go indulge in to make us happy. And we could be turning our back on the Queen of Swords energy, and the feminine figures talk about how we think and feel, of looking at life from a higher perspective, that there's more to life than just these things of the world we want to go indulge in that we think will make us happy. The Queen of Swords and Aquarius energy, we could all be caught up in trying to look like a shining star in the world. And we want other people to look at us like a shining star and look how attractive I am and how successful I am. And people should want to be in a relationship with me and be friends with me and marry me. And I want all these things that people have in the world. But we're kind of so caught up in these things of the world as the driving factor, instead of kind of keeping things in perspective and kind of looking at things from the big picture, that there's a higher truth and justice to aspire to. And that's learning to love ourselves, to free ourselves from those things that try to imprison us. Our more worldly nature, our fear, our insecurity, our pride, our ego, our codependent nature. And when we learn to look at life from a higher perspective and love ourselves, we're the only one who holds the key to freeing ourselves. But for a long time in our life, we can think for sure the answer to our problems lies outside of ourselves. I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to be in this. I need to have that. I'm sure if I indulge in those things, invest in those things, have those things, I'll be happy. Well, sometimes people have all those things of the world and they still feel in lack and left out in the cold, because those things are meant to be enjoyed from a foundation of love, and we were kind of missing the key component. And shadowy energy can be being more codependent. So just like people can look to drugs or booze to be the answer to their problems, people can look to, if I'm in a relationship, that's the answer to my problems. Then I will feel loved. Then I will feel at peace within myself. And what happens when people who are in more codependent energy look to get in a relationship with someone, and you are supposed to be the answer to their problems. They're not supposed to feel fearful or afraid or insecure or petty or envious or jealous or anything. You are supposed to make their life all better. Well, sometimes, if they're in a relationship with someone, even though they could be in relationships with people who are inspiring them to be more independent, to love and believe in themselves, to keep things in perspective, to look at life from a higher perspective, and are offering them love, it's like leading a horse to water. You can't make a horse drink the water. And it's like trying to offer love and encouragement to people who aren't willing to do the work within themselves. High Vibe Sagittarius is about higher learning and education. We have to be inspired, Virgo energies, about doing the inner work about things we keep hidden in the dark, that we don't want to look at, our fear, our insecurities, our self-limiting beliefs. And when we're inspired to do that inner work and look at life from a higher perspective and have hope and faith and belief in ourselves and offer our self-love, that's when we're free. But that's not how some people view relationships. And Taurus energy can be about, all these institutions of the world, workplaces, friendships, family dynamics, romantic relationships. Some people's philosophy of life is like, well, no, that's not my job. I'm not supposed to have to love myself. Look, I might have these things of the world. The Nine of Pentacles would be very stable or abundant in some way, that people would want to be in a relationship with you. Aquarius energy, you could shine bright for some reason in the world. And some people have this more immature, that's shadowy Sagittarius energy. They have this kind of immature way of viewing life. No, I have these things of the world, or I'm victorious and successful, or I'm attractive, or I have social clout, or whatever. They're just full of themselves and egotistical. And they could think, this is what I defend. This is my philosophy of life. And I am not going to free myself from this philosophy of life. This is what I defend. Normally, the Queen of Swords is standing with their sword out like, this is what I am defending. And they're not supposed to have to love themselves. Other people are supposed to love them. And that's how some people can view life. And, you know, shadowy energy can be people who are kind of full of themselves. Shadowy Virgo energy can be, I am putting in work and effort to have these things of the world or look a certain way. Shadowy Aquarius, I look kind of successful and victorious in the world in some way. I could be smart and intelligent. Taurus, I might have money and stability and security. And it can be kind of stubborn. It can be kind of egotistical. But that's how some people could view the world. There's high vibe people in the world that have all those same traits and characteristics. They could be attractive, they could be smart, they could be charming, they could be victorious and successful. They don't think that because they have those traits and qualities and characteristics, that they should be able to use those things to manipulate people in a relationship. They just view those as things that, you know, they might have, but it's love that drives and motivates them. But other people, that's not how they view life. Shadowy Taurus can be a more transactional way of viewing relationships. Life is about looking like you have the certain status and image in the world. If I have a certain status or image or looks or money or whatever, well then I have ingredients that people should want to be in a relationship with me. Maybe people who seem to have less of those things. But sometimes some of the people who have some of these traits, qualities, and characteristics, the thing they're lacking is love, creativity, warmth, imagination. Because high vibe people are connected in with their more emotionally intuitive, loving nature. And other people in the world, in their free will, kind of rejected nurturing that aspect of themselves or aligning with that aspect, and they decided to align with kind of living more from their mind than their heart, making their life more about themselves or more about the world. And they could, it's kind of like, because we have our dualistic nature of our more loving, intuitive nature and our more worldly nature, there's some people in the world that they, for one, might not even want to connect in with their more emotionally intuitive nature. We're emotionally complex human beings, and, you know, it's confusing to work through all those emotions. And somewhere along the line, people could have decided to leave that aspect of them behind. I don't want to even really deal with it. It's confusing. I prefer to defend my more worldly view of life. And that's what motivates and inspires me. And that's my free will choice. And I think there's other people in the world that want these things of the world that I have that could be loving people. I have things of the world that they want. They're loving. We should get in a relationship. And then it will be a more transactional relationship. You be loving and giving and nurturing, and you don't be defensive and prideful and egotistical and manipulative. I might be that. But you should stay in a relationship with me because you wouldn't have as much of these things of the world. So they value the things of the world more. High vibe people value love more. And high vibe energy is a balance of both. Yes, I want stability and security and enjoy some of the finer things in life, but I also want authentic, loving, just, fair, balanced relationships with people who act with character and integrity. But a shadowy energy could be where, well, people could think that whoever has more of what someone else wants, that person should be deferred to. The scales should be kind of tipped in their favor. And some people who are aligned with their more worldly nature, they don't value maybe deep emotional relationships and love as much as other people. You know, it's more for the status and the image and who do I get along with. Kind of like, you know, I'd have sex with someone. Who am I going to have sex with? What do you got? What do you wear? What do you look like? What do you drive? How much money do you make? Do we get along good enough? Well, I'll have sex with you then. You know? And it is kind of not a very deep, meaningful relationship. And sometimes when some high vibe people get in a relationship with someone who they kind of feel is kind of immature in their idea of what a just and fair relationship is, or are kind of more materialistic and ego-driven, eventually those people, the Queen of Swords, can talk about emotionally feeling betrayed in a relationship. Because, that's the thing. We just assume other people have the same philosophy of life as we do. And if you're a loving person, you think everybody's motivated and inspired by love. Of course, if people were in a loving relationship, they'd want to stay in a loving relationship. Some people are like, no, I'm not going there. I'll be in a relationship with you. I'll stay in a relationship with you as long as it's good for my ego and image, and as long as you let me stay. Shadowy energy can be operating more from your defensive egoic nature. You keep letting me kind of operate more from my defensive egoic nature. Your dream isn't going to come into reality being in a more authentic, that's high vibe Leo energy, creative, inspired, hopeful, believing relationship. Only you're going to be in that energy, because that's not my philosophy of life. So it's kind of like someone who's kind of defensive or egotistical or materialistic or self-centered or more about themselves wants to be in a relationship with someone who isn't like that, and they kind of get the best of both worlds, right? They get to be defensive and be in a relationship with someone else who isn't defensive. But the loving person ends up in a relationship with someone who's defensive. And then the high vibe people are emotionally invested in the relationship. They have love for those people. They want them to move forward with them, and they offer them love and encouragement to try to encourage them to free themselves from these things that manipulate them, that stop them from doing love. And probably the reason they don't want to do love is because they dealt with other people in their life, just like the rest of us have, that made them feel left out in the cold. That, there could have been one time in their life when they had people that they were in relationships with, that they tried to get to work together with them in a just and fair manner. And those people kind of kept being not just and fair and authentic and loving. And some people decided, that's it. I'm not doing love anymore. That aspect of myself kind of gets locked away. I don't want to be hurt anymore. I'm going to protect myself. And from now on, when I'm in a relationship, I do not let myself more authentically, emotionally invest in people. I will work together with them cooperatively. I will present myself as loving. I will have intimacy and will enjoy life. But to really kind of step out of my comfort zone, to let my more authentic, vulnerable nature out to play in the world, no. And you can be in relationships with people for a really long time until you realize that. And it can be very heartbreaking. But you kind of realize, Aquarius, again, about you have a dream. And we could realize we were repeating an old pattern. You can be a loving, nurturing person, just like these people at one time could have been a loving, nurturing person and open to love. It's just that along the way, the other people didn't give up on love. They had disappointments in people who were whatever ways of being that they were. The other people just never gave up on believing in their dreams and believing in love, and the other people did. And then we realize we're in a relationship with someone where they can become more and more defensive to you the more it gets to, it's kind of like them feeling in danger in a way. I could really get hurt here. You know, high vibe people have been hurt and disappointed before, and they know how to love themselves to pick themselves back up again. Some of the other people don't know how to do that because maybe for a long time they haven't let their more authentic nature out to play in the world. And it might fall down and skin its knee and get tripped and, different things that they don't even have practice at how to do that within themselves. And they look to get in relationships with people to provide that for them. But the problem is also, if their issues start to bubble up again, well, then they can become defensive to the loving people in their life. My fear and insecurity bubble back up again. You must be the wrong person. You're not the answer to my problems. It's like, I never was the answer to your problems. I'm just someone who wanted to work together with you in a relationship. Well, I don't want to be in a relationship with you anymore because I'm feeling insecure, or I'm feeling in lack, or I just feel like not like I used to. I want to go get in a new relationship. Then I'll feel all better and feel like a shining star. And, it's kind of like a boost to the ego. Well, some people, have done that in their life before too. And they realize that, that is kind of like getting a boost of ego. That isn't the answer. If I have issues within myself that make me feel left out in the cold or not feel good enough, or why? And then that's when, after people pursued their kind of worldly way and it keeps not working out the way they thought, they do this work to look at life from a bigger picture. And it's like, what about me loving me? Do I love me? Do I value me? Do I appreciate my worth and value? Do I think I bring good things to the table? If I haven't, can I change those things? Can I grow and heal and mature myself? And they take this inspired action to appreciate themselves. And I know that can be really hard. And a lot of you, since by the statistics on YouTube, probably most of the viewers are around 45, but in case there's any younger viewers or if anybody needs it, but it can be hard to do that for ourselves, to appreciate ourselves or value ourselves. And I had to go through it myself too, where it was kind of like looking at it from, like, if you knew someone that you loved, and say you were like a grandfather, a grandmother, and you had this little grandchild who was 10, 11, 12, 16, 23, 35, whatever they were, and they were going through the same difficulties you would do, how would you comfort them? And and that's how you become high vibe Leo, of being like a good mother, father, and coach voice to yourself. And sometimes in order to do that, you have to distance yourself from it, where it's not you, and you kind of look at it like you giving that advice to someone else. And you treat yourself in a loving, compassionate manner. The truth sets you free, and the truth is love. And high vibe Leo energy is being in the energy of life-giving energy. I choose to treat myself with love and compassion and forgiveness. We've all had lots of lessons to learn. We've all been more immature, self-indulgent, kind of more about ourselves, and codependent, and wanting people to love us and feeling left out in the cold. And when we start to give that to ourselves, it's like at the first chakra of the core foundational level, we're no longer aligning with our bad inner parent, bad inner voice, hurtful inner voice, shameful, abusive inner voice. And some people are still in those voices within their head. And they could have grown up with people that also were very defensive to anybody stepping outside of societal norms or being more authentically themselves. No, you have to conform to the world. You have to act like this. You have to dress like this. You only talk to these people, not those people. And it could have all been much more about status and image. And until they kind of see how all of those, like, where did all these ideas get in their head? Where did all these philosophies of life, of these unwritten rules of how we should live our life, and what's right, and what's wrong, and what's just, and what's fair, and what's praiseworthy and worthy of pursuing, and what's not, How about living your authentic life? Getting out of the illusion and the emotional confusion. It's like, you know what? I could try to people please people. I could try to suck up to people. I could try to alter who I am and how I act. How about I act from love? How about I operate from a good foundation, not petty, envious, jealous, insecure, and I do this work within myself to know my worth and value, look at life from a higher perspective, choose love, free myself, and I go out in the world and I treat other people the way I like to be treated. And I'm kind and encouraging and supportive and loving to people, and I offer love and encouragement to other people. Shadowy energy, we can be in our ego and we're competing with everyone and we don't want other people. Well, that's, do we want the world to be a more abundant place or not? We can't do everything. We can't be a nurse and a scientist and a school teacher and, other people have to do these jobs in the world. How about we applaud other people? Thank you for excelling in your chosen field. Thank you for loving what you do. Thank you for the work and effort you put in it. I don't think people have to tell people that. If you want to and somebody, go ahead. But, there's other people that feel very betrayed and are very egotistical and self-centered and think they're the cat's pajamas and feel insecure and in lack if they're not in the center of attention at all times and jealous and petty and envious of everybody in the world. It's like, oh my gosh, be happy that people are being victorious and successful in their life, that if they're acting from a good place, thank you. We need more people in the world like that, right? And some of you freed yourself. This walking away card kind of reminds me of the garden and the gate card, where the person is sitting in an abundant area, but they're too afraid to go out in the world to believe that they can bring their traits, like recreate that somewhere else. Like, no, we have to do it this way. I'm going to act like this, you act like that. Nobody can do anything any differently, because if we were to take our gifts out into the world, we'd have to let love and intuition guide us, and we're afraid we can't create it out there, or we'd have to listen to our own intuition, and that can be really rigid, kind of Taurus energy, where we have to do it this way. And high vibe energy with 2 fire signs starting it out, and Sagittarius is also fire sign energy, being more inspired to believe that there's more to this life than just these things of the world that I make so important. Life's to be an adventure to be lived. I have all these lessons to learn. I have all these different people to learn lessons from. And when I meet people and I do get triggered in my fear or my insecurity or something, I can look at that and figure out why did that get triggered? And where do I feel in lack? I don't have all the things that other people in the world got. I can only work with what I got. And I guess if it bothers me, maybe there's some things I could do to improve upon myself, or somehow high vibe Sagittarius, kind of wrapping your brain around it. There's always going to be people in the world that got more better trait, skills, qualities, whatever. Some people their natural personality can just be different than yours. And, some people are more introverted. Some people are more extroverted. And, we kind of extend our self-grace that, I am where I'm at. And maybe if I would like to be someone like that one day, maybe one day I will. In the meantime, I'm not going to stay in this negative kind of energy, because that's not fertile soil to build my life in. I'm going to accept that there is room for me to grow to my full potential yet. Every day I'm breathing is another day that I'm on my journey of growing to my full potential. And if I'm not 80 or 90 years old, I'm not there yet. So, who knows what could happen in my life. Some people are kind of egotistical, have this more worldly view of life, and if they get in a relationship with someone who is more inspired to kind of step outside of societal norms and isn't kind of manipulated by all the things that they're manipulated by, yeah, they might become defensive to you and try to imprison you. Stay within the box. Do not step outside of the box. You need to live your life this way. This is how I live my life. And they might become defensive and cold to you, trying to make you do life the way they want it. But then you do feel like someone who you have love for is being kind of controlling of you, and that shadowy energy. Why aren't you encouraging me to live to my full potential and grow to my full potential and listen to my intuition and live my more authentic life? And it's because they don't live their more authentic life, or their more authentic life does fit within the confines more of conforming to society, and yours don't. And then they could kind of want you to leave. And we have to realize that sometimes when people are being defensive to us and cold to us and whatever, without having to say it, they could just be hoping you'll move on. Because it could be, if they have issues they don't want to deal with, that if they were to keep staying in relationship with you, we're all ready to deal with those things that we kind of keep buried beneath the surface. Some of our fears or insecurities or being more independent. And when we're ready to deal with them, we deal with them. And so high vibe energy is getting to that place where you, in the energy of love, I can love you, and I also don't want to maybe spend much time with you either anymore. And out of love and respect for myself and my dreams, and your dream seems to be different than my dream, and how you want to move forward in life is different than how I want to move forward in life. And you could be more focused on either being about yourself, indulging in these things of the world, or making these things of the world, like ego and image and money and status, the driving factor in your life. And I thought it was going to be truth and love. And that's when you can realize that some people, they really don't want to go there. And you can't stay imprisoned in something that makes you feel left out in the cold, where you're missing an opportunity to be in a deep, meaningful relationship. And, it can feel like you're kind of, and we can really be tempted in our worldly, egoic nature to want to stay in those jobs, friendships, and relationships because of the status and the image and the money. But it's like, oh my gosh, I don't feel like I can live my authentic life here. Or I'm in relationships or at a job where people are being petty or bossy or controlling, and it's like, oh my God, I need to go find a different job. I cannot stay here. So what's coming up for some people that are moving forward in high vibe Sagittarius that they might not see coming? The Ace of Pentacles. Why? Because of the Six of Swords, which is Aquarius energy. You realized and saw the truth that some people in the Virgo energy that they harness within themselves, regardless of what zodiac sign they are kind of more motivated and inspired in repeating some way of viewing life or living life or viewing relationships, that you've kind of already been there and done that. And I don't want to repeat that old pattern. I have looked at life from a higher perspective, and I do have hope and faith and belief in love, and maybe you don't. And the Six of Swords sees the truth of the Five of Swords. And the Five of Swords, both the 5 and the 6 and the 7, are all Aquarius energy of kind of what our truth is, what our dreams are, how we view life, what we view as the dream relationship, the dream life. And some people, it's more about them or more about these things of the world. For other people, it's about being an inspired, authentic, warm, loving relationships, pursuing our stability and security, but that there's a higher purpose. Love is what makes it all worthwhile. And you've seen the truth of it. In your Virgo energy, you did this inner work to look at life and to free yourself from some of the things that manipulated you. You worked through your mental conflict. You did look at life from a higher perspective. You put past pain and heartbreak, fears and insecurities in perspective. And those things don't manipulate you the way they used to. And some of the people in your life, those things still manipulate them. And we can't make other people look at life differently. We can't make people have hope and faith and belief in themselves. We can't make people believe in love or believe in their dreams, you know? So you saw the truth. Why? And you're going to have these new beginnings because life is about learning lessons, and we'll keep repeating an old pattern until the Ace of Pentacles is that you learn the lesson you're meant to learn. So you changed, because the fives can talk about change. So the Six of Swords leaves the Five of Swords, and the financial constraints is the Five of Pentacles. You don't have the same philosophy of life that you did at a previous stage of your life. And you're not the same person that you were before. And some of the other people in your life, they do view life the same way they did. And until they get kind of disappointed enough with things not working out the way they wanted, or wanting more, or to choose love, or put things in perspective, or be more bold and brave and confident within themselves, they're going to keep repeating this pattern. So you're going to have some new beginnings, and the people in your life that are inspired to keep moving forward with you in that way will be people who move forward with you in that way. And there's just going to be some people that it's like, no, that is not my philosophy of life. I'm going to go find people that are more on the same page as me. So what is coming up for people who might harness a more worldly, shadowy Sagittarius energy that they might not see coming up? And there's some people's dream is they really think that the way to avoid being unhappy in life is to stay single. And if they know some people in their life that do want to maybe bring a dream into reality, like getting married or something, there's some people that are like, nope, not going to do that, because of some philosophy of life that they have where they don't think and have faith in that. And other people are like, I don't know if things are going to work out the way I want them to work out. We have no clue when things are going to drive off into the ditch, or if people could, but I want to maybe be in a more formal commitment. And some people might be like, nope, I'm not doing that. So they could kind of feel betrayed if there was people in their life that wanted to move forward to bring a dream into reality, maybe a more formal commitment like marriage, and they weren't willing to do that. And there was someone loving who basically they had to let go of, because that person, if they felt like, I don't know, somebody just wasn't bold and brave and inspired enough to have some more hope and faith and belief in love, they didn't want to stay in a relationship with someone like that. And so some people could feel betrayed that people do have more hope and faith and belief in themselves, are willing to be more authentically themselves in the world, and they're not, or they wanted to pursue a more formal commitment or move away to pursue their dreams in some way, and some other people weren't. And everybody can feel betrayed, you know? I thought you were going to do it like this. I thought we were on the same page. It's like, well, I thought it was about this, and you thought it was about that, you know? And some people, if they're in a relationship with someone who they don't think will ever be more bold and brave and inspired to believe in themselves and their dreams. Some people are like, I am keeping this person and I'm not letting them go. Because it is kind of like, some people like people who are codependent on them. You're not going anywhere, right? You're not ever going to heal and love and believe in yourself, right? Perfect. Then, I don't know, I guess this feeling like maybe in their ego that they wouldn't ever have someone leave them. Where if they were to get in a relationship with someone who challenges them to heal and grow and mature themselves, it might not work out. Well, I'm not going to take the chance with someone like that. Maybe I won't be able to keep up. So I'll stay in a relationship with this person. They don't seem to look at life from a higher perspective. They seem to be more about these things of the world. So I'll just stay in a relationship with them, even though both people could feel left out in the cold and both people could feel like they're defensive to love, but they just stay in the relationship more out of codependency or something. What's coming up for some more worldly Sagittarius energies in the world that they might not see coming up? The King of Pentacles. Why? Because of the Six of Pentacles. There's people who can be very smart, and they think that they can manipulate people to get them to do what they want and view them a certain way and all these things. But what they can't manipulate is people's life force energy within them. And everybody was given their intuitive, creative, inspired nature. And some of the people who like codependent relationships, that could be kind of like a parent to a child type dynamic. I want to be like the parent and you're like the child. I'm like the boss, you're like the employee. Well, a natural process of life is that children do want to spread their wings and fly and be more independent and want a more just and fair and balanced relationship. And some of the people that are trying to do that in their relationships, they're going to have some high vibe people in their life that they're trying to do that with. Maybe a Capricorn or just someone who is more stable and grounded within themselves, who does want to do more equal give and take in the Six of Pentacles Taurus energy. And again, they can have love for them. They're attracted to them. They want a dream to come into reality with them. But if the other person keeps being defensive to get out of their ego and maybe admit they have some lessons to learn about working together with people in a more just and fair and balanced, emotionally mature way, eventually they're going to have some high vibe people that are going to let go. The Six of Pentacles can talk about, I'm going to let go of this foundation for this foundation. I'm not going to keep trying to exchange resources with someone where I'm trying to be just and fair and emotionally mature, try to see things from your perspective, be loving and encouraging and supportive, and you're kind of tipped out of balance, not sure if you want to do that in return. And eventually people want a more just and fair relationship, and they're going to have some high vibe people that are going to get out of being in a relationship with them because they feel it's lacking in maybe warmth or authenticity or creativity or inspiration. Because if you're living more from your mind than your heart and your defensive nature, what about the creative, inspired, intuitive nature that kind of brings that spark of life to people, And it can just feel like it's more for the ego and the image and the status. And it's like, it's not enough. And eventually they'll probably end up in a relationship with someone who's more like themselves, that is also more about being in a relationship because of shadowy Taurus energy. It makes, it's good for my ego and my image. We get along well enough. neither one of us might have hope and faith and belief in love, might not really be inspired by love. Let's make our life about these things of the world. I'm willing to be in a relationship with you. And both of them might end up being people who kind of are jealous and envious of people who loved themselves and believed in their dreams, that weren't willing just to stay in a job or a relationship, just to have a job or relationship. And we all could have been there at different times, and everybody's got to decide for themselves when they think they're ready, and when their intuition tells them, I am ready to kind of distance myself from this friend group or organization or workplace or romantic relationship. When we're ready, and it's time for us to be ready, or just to even live our life differently. If certain people didn't live their life a certain way, and maybe drive their life more into the ditch than some other people, they wouldn't be able to relate to other people who'd been there, and then maybe write a book to help those people get themselves out of it. So everybody's on their own journey for their own purpose. It's just that, that's where we come to that place of peace about it. I don't control anything. I can't control other people. The only person I can change is me. I can be loving and encouraging and just supportive to people, move forward in truth and love, but I'm not going to indulge poor behavior in myself anymore, or poor behavior in others. If it's not based on truth and love is to be just and fair, where people act with character and integrity and emotional maturity, then I wish you peace, but I'm moving on. So there you go, Sagittarius. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.